Ben Chern.
Shelby Brothers.
Van Lance.
Fifteen seconds. Shelby Brothers. Five seconds. Ah, okay. If I can find the hero. There we go. Okay, there we go. Humpers.
Boa.
Thick Grace.
Mas olha, não digo.
Shelby Bros. $15 seconds, Pika. And Shelby Brothers ban.
Interesting. Okay.
Humpers ban.
Ban Kane.
And Humpers pick.
Pick silver now.
Shelby Bros, 2 picks, 40 seconds each.
Okay, too toxic.
10 seconds. Alright, Sky. There we go. And Kosame. Round it out for us. $15 seconds. 5 seconds.
Pick Reza.
I'm a big fan of Inara in general. I like the hero. But I think when it comes to, I slightly favors Humpers draft, to be honest, because with the Reza, you have that chance to get onto a Sky, if needed to be, and you also have a Silvernail, who can, if needed to, also, right? You can stop the engages from Inara with his ultimate, with the what is it, Tribute or something, and I think with the
Rebuke.
Grace as well, they have a lot of peel against that Inara, and then the Reza can make sure of the Sky, and I think that is the slight edge towards Humper's team in terms of draft.
So who do you think is going to win the early, mid, and late game?
Well, the early game we have Sky. Sky really strong level 1. But I think, yeah, I think it's gonna be a brawl in the middle. That is probably what is most expected to happen. Neither team is gonna want to give up that level 1. And mid game, however, we can see slight changes as both Inara and Reza will have big power spikes. Sky as well, but I think some other power spikes are even better than the level 6.
Yeah, one of the interesting heroes that we're seeing coming out, as you mentioned, is that Inara. It's a hero that we saw banned all through our first semifinal. What do you think it means that that was banned in our first semifinal is now just being let through all the way to the 10th pick here?
I think she just has so much potential, right? Like that passive of hers that just steals treants, if you can make it in time, it's just so powerful. And then on top of that, you have her big, huge ultimate that gives speed boost to the entire team. And if the Inara does damage on top of that, that is definitely not a hero that people want to play against. So I can definitely understand that sort of ban. She's quite cancer to play against.
Yep, that's going to be a very interesting one to watch on the side of the Shelby brothers. Well, we're just going to have to see. I'm going to see how close we are to getting in game here.
We're 10 seconds into before the start.
All right.
All right, excellent.
There we go.
We've seen Reza before. We know Ultia from Team Humpers. He likes the Reza pick a lot. And into the Sky, this could, I think his matchup here is quite favored if he can play around the forward barrage with his dashes. I think he will be just fine. Overall, I think it will be, again, with team synergy, how well they can engage, where they start their engages from. We've seen that with Chubby Bunnies, excellent team coordination and trying to get your positioning correctly. And starting the fights is such a good, important part of the game.
All right, well, here we go. Everybody's just racing. It looks like both teams are going to race to the middle. We might see a level 1 fight here. We'd love to see those.
Yep, as expected, we see Humpers very confident. They want to fight.
And here we go. Humpers are just kind of marching to the jungle. It looks like they're just posturing around this front tree. And Sky's trying to land a couple of forward barrages, but just a little bit of the wrong angle there. And the healer does go on to Kosame, so that's just a little bit of extra golden experience being pulled away. However, the side of Shelby Brothers was able to very smartly pull back their front healing treants, but the middle crystal treant does go on to the side of Humpers.
Yeah, they're very confident, perhaps playing some mind games, as one of their team likes to call it. Very confident, showing that they are not afraid at all. And perhaps that is exactly what they need. The Reza now slightly ahead because of that Sky not getting that middle treant of hers. And that will be more important once Reza goes back to the Elder treant, as he is doing right now. And perhaps we can see another little fight coming out there with the Reza versus Sky.
Yeah, just a little bit of poking going back and forth from the Silvernail and the Sky. However, the Inara does able to just jump up in here. Kosame is back a little bit too far on the enemy side of the map, but he's able to just rotate down. Crypchi on this Inara now is chasing down the Amato. Amato's complete by herself. They saw both of the heroes rotate down their own side of the map, so they know that Amato is completely alone. And there we go. Shelby Brothers just very cleanly picks up a kill. They took 2 extra turret shots there, so they took a little bit of the health bar chunk down, but meanwhile, the side of Humpers was clearing out the Shelby Brothers jungle.
I see what they were going for there, Team Humpers, right? They wanted to do the macro play, go down, take the jungle treant, and and perhaps maybe slight overextension from the Sylvanil there. That is not really what you want. But however, the Reza is getting quite a few jungle treants, and that will be a healthy, at least a one level lead over the Inara, who's been quite starved in terms of jungle treants.
Yeah, and one thing you don't want to do as an Inara is play from behind. And of course that goes for any hero, but she's really kind of in her prime when you're at least keeping up, and especially if you can get a little bit of a lead, the damage starts to get completely ridiculous. But Areza is another one of those heroes where if he's able to get just a little bit too far ahead, the burst can just come out of absolutely nowhere.
Ooh, Firestarter is gonna miss. Reza doing no damage there, but however the fronts are getting taken again, and that is even more levels for Reza. He's very, uh, I would say, happy with what he's gotten so far, especially considering it's an Inara who's quite frankly the queen really from last hitting treants, and that is another Elder Treant. Yep, that is another Elder Treant going on to the side of Humpers. They're all winning these small little just jungle trades there. Yeah,
Yep.
so that is good for them.
It looks like the macros maybe just a tiny bit cleaner from the side of Humpers. Even giving that last healer treant over to Amato in lane, trying to get to that Silvernail, a little bit more gold, a little bit more experience.
Right, we can see the Reza here again, right? He knows the jungle treants when they spawn. He has the dashes, he has the mobility, and he's being very aggressive towards it. Perhaps a little bit overextension. He doesn't have a dash anymore, apart from his ultimate. And yes, he also, ooh, such a good last
And
hit
here we
for the
go. A
jungle
little bit
treant.
of a fight is breaking out, but Ultia even manages to get that last healing tree. And Arden is just going completely the wrong direction. But with the Sky and the Nara rotating down, now maybe it's the side of Humpers that's caught out in a little bit of a misposition. Sky's landing every single forward barrage. But look at that Silvernail tripwire. It goes down. But Silvernail's the one who does end up going down. Arden was poked down from before, so he also ends up going down. Ultia now is just trying to burst down the Sky, but he's completely out of energy. The Inara is going to start to try to chase this Reza. Will she be able to catch him? It doesn't look like it. She still doesn't have level 6, and Reza just got level 7. There's still going on a little bit of a fight down there. Kosame was, for some reason, trying to 1v1 the Sky. Not sure what happened there, so Kosame does end up going down right at the end of that team fight.
If we look back at that interesting team fight, we saw the Reza. He had the gold, and just when the shops came up, he was able to get that Shatter Glass, a huge power spike for the Reza, and that was what gave him that extra kill. I think the Reza right now is going to be the main thing. Silvernail slightly behind. He is kind of slow. He cannot do much. And at level 6, that he is not the most mobile hero in the game, have to say. But meanwhile, the Reza, he has a good amount of gold in his pocket, and he will try to be more aggressive and try to pick fights and start to be engaging.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the side of the Shelby brothers has 3 kills, and all 3 kills are onto that Sky. And if Sky starts to get like maybe 3 or 4 items, that forward barrage can chunk out a health bar in just about 2 seconds flat. And here we go. It looks like
Reza engaging.
Reza's engaging. He does land the fire starter and gets a huge amount of burst onto Pika there. But now the Silvernail is just focused on Arden. Arden mispositioned again and just gets bursted down. I don't think he was expecting that amount of damage to come out.
Well, here we see the pings. I think that is the shock call for the gold miner. And here Reza again taking that middle treant for the Shelby brothers. And the gold miner is getting taken. They understand that Sky is still in the wave, and that should pretty much be a free gold miner at this point. It's not going to be contested. Yeah, the Inara thinking about it, but at the end, no. And that is an easy 380 gold each to the side of Team Humpers.
Yep, they get that. That's over 1,000 gold for the side of the team. So now they're going to be maybe about 2.5 K gold up. We'll try to see that when it does come up. Arden just kind of going in and poking a little bit with his just with his B onto the Silvernail. The Silvernail is a little bit low, so he's going to have to be careful. But Reza's, I have to say, is just playing super, super cleanly this game.
Yep, have to say, getting the kills when it matters, rotating down into the jungle, and he's definitely been the more dominant jungle in this game so far. Inara has been slightly lackluster, but also that is part of generally like the team rotations and stuff. That is a good job from Reza.
Here we go. Grace just goes right in with her benediction, and look at that. The Crypt Tree is already half health before anything even really happens in the team fight. An entire forward barrage missed. So look, a tripwire is thrown down by the Silver Nail. That's a disruptive for the middle of the team fight, but it looks like almost everyone is going to go out. The Netherform detonator was not crucibled, and Arden has to use an extremely defensive gauntlet. Meanwhile, the Divine Intervention comes through for on the side of the Silver Nail, so the Silver Nail is completely healed up. The entire side of the Shelby brothers is poked down, and they can't do anything. And the entire side of the Humpers was full health. Inara tried to get away. She tried to get through a cheeky recall, but Altia just had great game sense, knew where she was, went down there and just landed the fire starter and got the kill.
We see Rez engaging again onto the Arden, and that he goes down as well.
Oof.
Great limit testing there, and that goes to the favor of Reza. We gotta see. We see that Oltia panning his map. Very good awareness to see the Inara backing from earlier, and that is another kill. He's 3-on right now. A little bounty off his side.
Well,
But he's still infused.
Company, it looks like now they've completely poked down Silvernail. Meanwhile, Altia is also about half health and maybe only a third energy on this Reza. And meanwhile, the entire Shelby brothers have all of everything up. This is the team fight that they want. They should hard engage here and try to get the kills. But no, they're just poking a little bit and then completely backing off. I'm not sure why they're not pursuing this when everybody is low, has no energy, but it does look like they're going to choose to go for that gold mine instead.
I think it might be contested though. Reza is still infused, just about to run out soon, but he has his ultimate as well.
Reza goes in, lands a huge Netherform detonator. He's okay just poking down the Arden. The Sky is trying to land her forward barrage, and it was contested, and they had dragged it into the bush, but we're just taking too long. The Inara gets a huge shutdown, though, onto the Silvernail.
Yeah, I think it is the good kill. However, I think the big shutdown is on the Reza, who is currently 4-0, and I think that is the bigger bounty. But nonetheless, Inara trading there, and she gets a 1-for-1, and that is better than just dying by herself.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that Inara, if she just keeps getting further and further behind, they are down, the Shelby brothers, by about 5k gold right now. So it's something along the lines of 500 gold per minute. It's a pretty big gold lead. It's not completely out of hand yet, but they're going to have to try to make sure that they can get as much gold as possible onto this Sky so she can carry the late game.
Right now, what the Shelby brothers wants to do is get a kill onto that Reza. He has huge damage potential, so I think they have to kite a lot. Look at that Reza, just even chunking the Arden.
Reza lands
in huge tripwire.
two Netherform. He lands 2 fire starters onto the Arden and just absolutely chunks through, and then goes directly onto the Inara. Reza is just almost 1v3ing at this point. He's so far ahead. He just bought an infusion. He has 2 full items and a little bit of cooldown. He's probably going for an aftershock next. That's just a lot of damage coming out from the side of the Reza. When your Arden is getting chunked out by a Reza, that spells doom for your 2 carries.
Yep, indeed, and Inara taking a lot of damage as well.
Oh,
She might go down here again.
It looks like this is just a 2v3, and Reza is just completely doing whatever he wants. Both the Sky and the Inara are super low. They're about 1 health. They can't go back in. Everybody does live for that team fight, though.
Great, gotta say, Grace's divine intervention, saving Reza there. That was quite dangerous there for the Reza, with that 5-0 bounty that he has on himself. But nonetheless, Gold Miner goes down again. That is another more gold lead for the side of Team Humpers, and they seem very well in control and dominating this game.
Yeah, Humpers seem to know exactly what they want to do this game and how to take that lead and just snowball it into the later game. We're gonna have to see about 45 seconds before the Kraken spawns. What do you expect to see from these 2 teams once that Kraken gets on the map?
I think we will see that the Reza will be trying to engage. With his mobility and his lead, he can definitely blow somebody up instantly, and I think that's what they want. Start a fight, get a kill, and then do macro, whatever that is. Kraken, get a sentry, or maybe just push lane and take a jungle rotation again.
Yep, and I really like the way that the Humpers are playing for objectives here. Yes, they're getting a bunch of kills, but they're not unnecessarily kill chasing. They understand that if they get the side of Shelby brothers low, they can just back off, take the gold miner, and play for that objective.
Yep, indeed. So we see another rotation down. Kraken's gonna spawn in 10 seconds. Do we see here a rotation for the sentry, perhaps? And I think yes, that is correct because another fight might break out right away.
And there we go. Anara goes in and she tries to use her banishing kick to do a little bit of damage, but a really good gauntlet, and the gauntlet stun into the death from above. Now the Grace is using the benediction to try to land a stun. Reza goes back in, but he's super low, and there we go. Silvernail lands some tripwires to try to disrupt the entire team fight. However, the Anara and the Arden do go down. They're just too far ahead. The Reza goes over the wall, gets the kill onto the sky, and that's going to be an ace for the side of the Humpers.
Yeah, I gotta say, Shelby brothers played that fight really well. It's just they are so far behind that it doesn't matter how well they play. The damage difference is too much, and Team Humpers, they worked for that lead, and this shows that even with mediocre team fights, they can still win confidently, and that is a Kraken. Lane's getting pushed as well, might even take the turret down there, and that is definitely a huge lead, and perhaps, yeah, it might end very soon.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw chain stuns coming down onto the Silverdale, but another fight is breaking out here. A death from above lands on exactly nobody. They're forced to burn the Crucible, but it doesn't matter. They just burst through the Crucible onto that Inara. They're not even going to wait for the Kraken. They're taking this choke point turret right away and just marching into the base.
Very good decision. If Inara being down, that is not enough pressure from the sky by herself. And the Kraken is still at full health. Look at him. He's nice, fueled, and he's gonna take some turrets out right away.
That's right. The Kraken is big, and she's angry, and she wants to take those turrets. Altia just going right onto the turret. They're just bursting through that first turret. Inara tries to go back in again. Not sure what she's trying to do there. Heals up a little bit in the base, but even that is dangerous, playing that close when your health is super low. The Divine Intervention comes through, and it heals right back up. The second base turret is going to go down. It looks like they're going to continue applying pressure here. And there's a huge gauntlet. The Crucible comes through to try to block out the gauntlet, but now the Banishing Kick comes through to kick away the Reza. The forward barrage is coming through onto the Silvernail, but no, they're just focusing down that Vein Crystal, and that is it. Humpers does take the lead 1-0 in our second semifinal.
Very dominant and convincing lead here for the side of Team Humpers.
Humpers.
Bench turn.
Shelby Bros. Ten seconds.
Okay. Bandlands. Hmm.
Ten seconds, Pika.
Okay, okay, okay. Fixed on bang. Okay. Band paddle.
Ten seconds.
Pick Moline. Pick Silver now.
Ten seconds.
I think the biggest thing is gonna be the Cruel, right? The Cruel is gonna have some trouble going through Meline and Silvernail with all uh, the tripwires and the Meline routes, and I think that it's gonna be pretty tough for him to do any sort of work unless he gets ahead early.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly right. And even if he does manage to get on to the Meline, Meline does have her Dark Form B, and she can just simply use that and walk away.
Mm-hmm. We also have to see the Lorelei, right? The Lorelei first pick and the immediate counter to it, the Sunfang. Lorelei will have to play much safer, at least in the early parts of the game. But I think though that in terms of late game, the Lorelei with her pools and even the stuns then, she has much more use than the Sunfang at that point.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Lorelei in the late game, if you just kind of get those splashdowns thrown onto you, it's so difficult to move around. That being said, Meline is kind of one of those heroes that, again, she can use her Dark Form B to move around. She has her own roots built in, and Silvernail doesn't really want to get on top of anyone anyway. But those splashdowns are going to be a huge help to the Kroll to help him stick to both Silvernail and Meline.
That is very true. That is probably the one saving grace for Cruel right there. Maybe Elira could have
Yuzu
been.
said, do the poll in general.
Maybe the Elira could have been even better. But I think the Lorelei, regardless, you know, if you can catch somebody out with that stun and the Cruel gets onto them, they might have a chance. Same with the Ringo. Very good, strong DPS. But he also lacks in mobility, the Ringo. And if he gets stunned by something, if he gets, you know, rooted by the Meline, it could go bad for him very easily.
Yeah, you know, Ringo is not a pick that we have seen yet this tournament. Maybe Shelby Brothers is just kind of going back to some of their comfort picks, the heroes that they know that they can play the best on.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always a fan of Lorelei. When she's on my team, of course. I freaking hate playing against Lorelei. So many
Gumpy,
slows,
when
so
you're
annoying.
when Lorelai's on your team, you're playing her, so that maybe that's why you like her so much.
Exactly, that is the main point. So now we see here the team, level 1, very confident, Team Humpers again. And we see Shelby brothers not being aggressive right now.
And here we go. It looks like we do have a little bit of a team fight breaking out already. There's just a tripwire to try to zone out the side of the Shelby brothers, which it does successfully. Now, the Shelby brothers are going to be the ones to start this barrier treant right in the middle. Not sure why, but Kroll's the one that's going to be able to less hit this, but no, they just kind of back off, and they're just going to give this for free over to the side of the Humper. So that's kind of 2 games in the row. Does the steal come through? No, it doesn't. It ends up going on to the Silver Nail. So close there. Good try by the Lorelei with that fish food.
Yeah, gotta say, even if they didn't commit completely, that was a very good fish food right on time, and was just unfortunate not to get it. But I think regardless, right, you have the Malign route even at level 1, so it might be a better decision for Shelby brothers not to engage on the Elder Treant right away, and just play more for just like picks and for the mid game. When Cruel gets stronger, he gets a couple items, and Ringo also when he gets those items as well. I think they'll be much stronger.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Gumpy. Let's just see. So what? Oh, here we go. We have another kind of fight breaking out here. The Kroll is just getting absolutely bursted down. And also the Lorelei's lowered a little bit. That's not something that you expect to see happen so quickly to a Kroll and Lorelei, where the side of the Humpers are taking absolutely no damage.
Yeah, so it's exactly like we've talked about before in the draft phase, right? Cruel is already experiencing some of those nasty roots of the Malign and the tripwires, that hinder him to do what he wants to do. As the Elder Treant goes down once more to the side of Team Humpers, and that is a good experience boost, plus the gold again for them.
Yeah, that's right, and everybody's just kind of rotating through the jungle. It's a fairly quiet game. What does it mean if Kroll is not going to be able to invade and get ahead here, moving on into the mid game?
That is going to be really tough for him, because if that Malign lands one route, the Silvernail can place a tripwire right away as well. And of course there's the Sunfang, always watching for a fish food, and he's always ready to counter and get a stun off and be such a nuisance that Sunfang really is as a support and utility.
Yeah, just Kosame, you could see how quick he did that counter pick. He's really looking to wait for the fish food to come out from the Lorelei, walk right into it, and then just use the Divine Fist to get the counter onto whoever he needs to stun.
Yep, so here once more, it's 312. Elder Treant is going to go down. This will be the last time that he will be killed in this match. And we see all 3 Elder Treants going for the Team Humpers. That is such a big boost in terms of experience, and it's definitely gonna matter at least a little bit once we get into the team fighting stage. Malign with her root, with her ultimate, she's gonna be so strong, and Cruel is definitely gonna suffer at least a little bit.
Well, we are seeing Malign hit level 6 at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That is absolutely huge. 3 Elder Treants. That makes 6 Elder Treants throughout the 2 games that have all gone on to the side of Humpers. We're just seeing very clean team play from their side.
Yep, as for now, we don't see too many big invades. Here we see the Cruel again, right? He's getting rooted. Look at that damage. And he just has to back off. There's just nothing he can do.
Yeah, just a clean root lands onto, the amount of damage that also comes out from those light ribbons is a little bit scary. And if you're a Kroll, you need to stay on top of people in order to do your damage. You can see Kroll's trying to rotate around the backside. He's trying to get in on there. But the positioning from Humpers is just too good, and he's not able to get an engage off.
Yep, we have to also mention just like how big... Oh, the stun goes off. The Sunfang. Is that a kill here? No. Barely Dallas escapes on that Lorelei. But however, the turret is taking a lot of damage.
And there we go. That is a 4 minute and 30-second turret. However, Pika is back in, and there's the Rebuke just pushing the Kroll all the way halfway across the map. The Silvernail does go down. Ringo gets a kill. However, the Sanfeng gets the reverse kill onto the side of the Shelby brothers. So two of them are down. Ultia is just left alive with just a tiny sliver of health. That is 2 kills to 1, and also the turret going down for the side of Shelby brothers.
Yeah, we saw a Silvernail going down there. That is not exactly what they wanted of an otherwise pretty clean game so far. But we have to mention that Cruel, right? He's engaging, and then that rebuke from Silvernail just pushing him around uh, endlessly, and he's not having a fun time whatsoever.
Yeah, this Kroll pick, especially into the Malign, but even as you mentioned, this Silvernail, like the Kroll did manage to get right on top of the Silvernail, but Silvernail just throws out the rebuke and pushes him all the way down to the bottom of the lane and is able to just continue outputting damage as the gold miner is started up from the side of Humpers.
This is
However,
a very good decision.
they do know that it's going on. There we go. The light ribbons goes out one more time. We have a huge Hell's Brew coming through from Ringo to try to get that gold miner, and it does. The Hellfire Brew steals the gold miner.
Oh my goodness, what a steal! That was amazing. However, the Malign, look at that aggression. They want to get the root down, but Cruel with his passive escapes. But the Ringo, he's kind of out of place there. He's in no man's land.
Ringo does a very nice little piece of sidestepping there, and we do see the water wall come through to try to keep the Ringo alive, but no, it's just not quite enough. So he does steal the gold miner, but then goes down just a few moments after.
Or we can see like the immense suffering from the Shelby brothers when that first turret is gone, and how much more pressure that is from Team Humpers. Now that the first turret is down, they have 3 rotations towards the top and into the enemy jungle as well. And for now, I think Team Humpers is looking pretty strong here with all their picks.
Yeah, Humpers is just once again, they understand their win condition. They understand what they have to do to win this game, and they're just executing. It's just very, very clean play, both of these games from the side of Humpers. Shelby Brothers is not playing badly at all. But they're falling only a tiny bit behind. They're just about keeping up. Last I saw, it was only a 2K goal difference, so they're very much in this game.
Oh,
Oh,
Ringo's
Ringo's
someone-
caught out, but we see from Hell's Heart landing, and a huge Master's Lesson is going to land. It's a 2-man stun, but Altia is going super low on that Malign. They're trying to focus down the Ringo, and the Ringo gets his Hellfire Brew off just as he goes down. Kroll is trying to stick, but he can't. He can't just stick onto that Malign, and Malign has too much of a burst damage, does go down. That's 2 kills to none, and now the Humpers are starting up this Crystal Sentry.
yeah, man, look at this, right? We see Cruel again. That was a better team fight from Shelby Brothers, but ultimately they just don't have the draft right here. Yeah, we see the tripwires, we see the rebuke from Silvernail pushing that Cruel around, and then of course Malign with her roots and escapability that she has. It makes it really hard for Cruel to stick to anybody at all.
Well, it's about a 5,000 gold difference at 8 minutes. That's the kind of the point where you start to see big things happen. However, kills were traded. Kroll gets a kill onto Silvernail, but Silvernail does get the return kill onto Ringo. So that's just a 1-for-1 trade into lane. We'll see if any of the teams can make something happen off of that.
Well, I think that if you are behind, then I think taking a 1-for-1 trade with the bounties that exist.
Wow.
Oh, as Cruel goes down again.
Look at that burst
Yeah.
Malign damage. She's level 10. And that's just a huge level difference right there. Malign was able to get those extra healing treants, and she was able to get a little bit of extra jungle away from that Kroll. And when you're up 2 levels, you're able to do a lot of burst damage as Malign.
Yeah, definitely. I think that if you are on a team that is behind, taking a 1-on-1 trade is actually preferred because of the bounties and how it works in VG, and that is even more a danger. If you are on a team ahead, you don't want to give any kills. The
And here we
Vortex
go.
get used.
War Treads are popped out, and here we go. A Master's Lessons comes through, and Silvernail instantly goes down, but Silvernail and Kroll are now both down. It's another 1-for-1 trade. It's the same 2 heroes. The Silvernail just goes down again. So the Silvernail really doesn't have that much big of a bounty. But again, that's that 1-for-1 trade that you were talking about, Gumpy.
Yep, and here we see the Malign again, right? She is the one that is fed. She is the one that can burst a person instantly, and he just goes down, he knows that Cruel is dead, and he goes down, taking the jungle rotation and perhaps up to the sentry, but it could be an overstay.
Well, they're trying to get this Crystal Sentry, but Kroll is alive, and he's coming up on the backside. The side of the Humpers don't know that he's here. They're going directly into this Malign. Malign has to use her Dark Form to try to get out and try to burst everybody down. And it looks like the Maline goes down to the Ringo. Ringo's exactly who you want that gold to go on, and he even manages to live. And now the Krull is just sticking to the Sanfeng, and they're going to be able to use that splashdown in order to slow everybody. The rebuke goes onto the Krull. The Krull gets stunned into the wall. The Ringo throws out from the the Hellfire Brute to try to do a little bit of extra damage. A beautiful fish food landed just there at the end to stop the engage from happening. I would call that a huge win for the side of the Shelby brothers.
I would have to agree there. Medellin, that jungle rotation, that was a good decision, but maybe it was a slight overstay on the sentry right there, and ultimately it was. She paid for it, and that was a 4-0 bounty from Medellin given over. But at the same time, they know they have the lane advantage. The lane is pushed to the Shelby brothers' side, and that is a free gold mine with no contest whatsoever towards the Team Humpers.
Yeah, it's good that bounty did go on to the Ringo. As you said, maybe just a little bit of an overstay, but they do end up getting a 370 gold each from that gold miner as a little bit of a consolation prize. That's going to be also 1,000 gold going on to the Humpers.
Yeah, I think going into the late game, now that the teams, Medellin is already level 12, but yeah, just once we go into that late game, we want to see more pressure from the side of Team Humpers. They definitely have the advantage, and here we see that is exactly the pressure they want. Take the sentry, force a fight, because you can win it as a 3-man team.
Yeah, and that's not even contested. Ringo popped an infusion walking down to that crystal miner. He must have thought that the fight was going to break out, but it didn't. So now his infusion is ticking. That's a level 10 infusion. Meanwhile, Ultia on this Maline has been level 12 for a little while. And everybody's just posturing in lane here. This is 6 men in lane. Krull's trying to get a little bit of an engage from a bush, but he's just baiting out that tripwire. A Hellfire Brew comes out from Ringo. He's not going to be able to follow up because he's absolutely just too low health. A single Divine Fist from the Sanfeng will make sure that he's stunned long enough. And there we go. The tripwire just makes sure that they're silenced, and the Lorelei, the tankiest hero on their entire team, gets insta-bursted down.
Yeah, and here we see once again, we've mentioned this before, right? The Krull trying to engage, and then the tripwire just comes in, says, no, go back to your grass, wherever you live. And that is what Krull does. He cannot do anything. He just can't engage onto this team.
Yeah, the Krull, he likes to spend his time standing still in the bush to get his perk off, and if he can get onto somebody and stick to them, he can do a lot of damage. It's just so difficult against the comp that the Humpers have drafted here. And now the Kraken's being taken, and they all know it, but there's a huge tripwire that comes down. The Rebuke is already used, so now Krull is going to try to be able to get in on and engage. A Fish Food comes through, it's a 2-man, so the Silver Nail instantly goes down. The Krull is trying to stick on to the Maline, and we have the Master's Lessons comes through. It's a 2-man stun with the Master's Lesson. Kosame is now super low. But, however, perhaps there was an overextension by the side of the Ringo, and Ringo just gets exploded. His health bar goes down. Oh, no, he was extended too far up. The Maline B is able to keep herself safe from that Krull, and just look at these mechanics here. The Maline is able to kill 2 heroes, and now Kosame on the Sanfeng gets the kill, and it turns into a disaster. They got the kill onto the Silver Nail, but then they just chased, and all 3 of them went down after taking that Kraken.
Yeah, man, I think that was both a combination of team throw and also excellent play from the Maline of Ultia, gotta say. He knew he had the damage, and so he didn't just leave. He knew he could fight and trade if necessary. And then Shelby brothers, they're not that far ahead. Right now, they're 7k behind. They cannot afford to take any deaths like this, even if it's slightly favored in a 2v3.
I would have liked them to see, look, they stole that Kraken and got the kill on Silvernail. All they had to do was back off there and get 2 of the lane turrets as it was a 2v3. As Divine Fist comes through, it stuns the Ringo, the follow-up route by the Maline with the light ribbons, so the Ringo just absolutely gets bursted down. Now Lorelei standing underneath his turret. They're taking turret shot after turret shot after turret shot, but they have too much health on their side. That's 2 men down. They're able to take 6 or 7 turret shots there before even any damage is done. Only Kosame has a little bit of damage onto him. They're bursting through the second base turret. Lorelei is still down, and they're just going to focus the Vein Crystal. They're trying to keep Ringo pushed off. Master's Lessons comes through. It lands onto 2. They're going to kill the Ringo. They're going to kill the Kroll. They might even go for the ace before taking the win. And yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. That is a 2-0 clean victory for the side of Humpers.
Very confident and dominant play, I would say, from Team Humpers. They knew they had the better draft. Cruel, just kind of a no man's land. And they executed where they needed to. So good job.